Hello, everybody, and happy Thursday. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Let's see who's here. My Renaissance Grandma, thank you for coming. Gigi Naturals, Homestead, Maria Graham, Maria Graham. Everybody say hello to everybody. Oh, my mother loved this little bell, everybody. Hopefully she'll be able to, somebody will sign her on the live chat. I didn't know what I did with this bell. Used to be my little goat, Lilac. Her name was Lilac, a little Sandon goat. Do any of you who are here have any goats or livestock? Hello, Sissy Joanne Stevens, and welcome. G Mama Grows, hello and welcome. And thank you. Oh, thank you for the nice words, Gigi. Our beautiful, our beautiful hostess. Thank you. Thank you. So, everybody, how has your week been? Can you believe it's February already? Hello, Cheryl Faulkner, Patty's Southern Kitchen, and more. I see you, Miss Patty, out there walking every day. I'm out there walking too and trying not to fall. The other day, when it rained a lot, and I walk in the park, and my little dog, Mr. Hershey, is mostly blind. He's 10 years old, but I guess it's something that goes on with his breed. And you can hear the water rushing where we go to the edge of the park. And I had him on a leash, and I walked near the water. He was like, maybe you still don't have your eyesight back, but we're not going over there by that water. I had to like drag him almost. Hello, Shakira. Hello. Okay, so it is 4:01. It's early, but I just can't wait to show you guys something. Look at this. Who knows what this is? Hi, Martika. How are you? Thank you and welcome. This is these are two of the seeds that I dropped 2 weeks ago, and I planted them. Can you see how much these two miniature pumpkins have grown? I don't even know what I'm going to do with them. Yeah, yes, Gigi. They're small. They're supposed to be miniature Connecticut pumpkins, field pumpkins, and the seeds were so small that I think they really were miniature ones, because I have had butternut squash seeds that were bigger than that. Thank you, Cheryl Faulkner. Did I say hi? I think I did. I don't know. I don't know. You guys, some of you that know me and have been coming around, you know that's why I almost always put the three purple hearts when I'm typing in somebody else's life, so I can find my place. Christine Ferguson, hey, your mom and I are here. We're watching. Oh, that must be mommy's nurse. Hi, Christine. Nice meeting you. I don't think we've met before. Yay. So, mother, ego amote. My mother used to sing to us in Latin when we were babies. She used to sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star in Latin. And she would say ego amote. Ego amote, mommy. I am so blessed to be my age and have a mom, 91 years old, who is not only still alive, but able to come on a live broadcast on my YouTube channel. Isn't that great? Everybody say hello and welcome to the GQUAT family reunion bus. The family reunion bus. When you guys come, I want you to feel like you actually are going to visit your family and be happy, comfortable, and share experiences. Those who are here, please check the thumbs up, the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. It does something to the algorithms and helps the channel to grow. So, um, thank you, Cheryl Faulkner, just speaking to my little sister, Joanne Stevens. Mommy, I don't think you can see the chat, Mommy. Maybe you can, but Sissy says hi. It's funny, you guys. I am a year and a half older than my sister Joanne, but I've always been like, Goliath and whoever. And my sister was always tiny, petite, and everything. When my mother brought her home from the hospital, I think she went downstairs to fix the baby's bottle, and her baby started crying. That would be my sister Joanne. So, me, a year and a half old, I, mommy says, oh, my mother says, hi, you guys. And I took her baby out of wherever she was on, the drawer, the bed, whatever, and I went to the top of the stairs, and I'm like, "Mommy, here, your baby is crying." And she's like, "Uh-oh, I know Pen Pen doesn't have my baby standing at the top of the stairs." And my mom's like, "That's okay, Penny. Back away from the stairs." I'm sure she tore my little butt up when I got upstairs, taking her baby out. But I've always taken care of my little sister. We've been besties ever since mommy brought her home from the hospital. I got some mail today, you guys. Where is Martika? Is my newest family GQUAT family member, and she lives here in the state of Connecticut. She was looking at some of my old videos, and she heard me say that when I went to Costco, I couldn't find any Old Bay seasoning. So the very next day, she said, Auntie Nana, go to your P.O. box. You have a package. It's there. I went to the P.O. box, you guys. I couldn't wait to open it. I couldn't wait to open it online. She gave me the biggest container of Old Bay seasoning, which is just the size I was looking for at Costco. So thank you, Martika. Bless your little heart. I have grandchildren Martika's age, and I really really appreciate that. That is so sweet. So mother, the little bell will be coming to Norwalk when I come on Sunday. So I would like, thank you, Maria. You like the scarf I have on? There's crimes going on underneath here. Hi, Roscoe, Uncle Roscoe. Roscoe and my sister Joanne have been married 47 years. I have lived with them sometimes. I staycation with them for months at a time. And he's been my brother for 47 years. Two of the pillowcases I made when I was making the pillowcases, two of them went to him for his birthday. So I would like to say happy Black History Month. Happy Black History Month. Just so that you guys know, and G Mama Grows has put up a link. If you click on the link, for those of you who are not subscribers, you can turn on the notification bell, and you will automatically be notified when I go live. Okay. So a couple of things are going on. Has anybody read any books? We usually start off talking about books. Why? Because you see all these books behind me. And yeah, I claim I read them. I have. And congratulations, Uncle Roscoe. 47 years in the family. I am an oral historian, and I have done, that was the pumpkin plant that fell over, you guys. Oh, my poor helper. There's a lot of soil on the carpet right now. I'm always spilling something. She came the other day and she said, you didn't cook in the last couple of days. I'm like, no, I didn't cook. She said that because the floor was so clean, over in the corners where things usually fall. But about Black History Month, well, before I go to that, Has anybody here read any books, any physical books, either online or done any research other than like Google? Because I have something I want to tell you about. Somebody said, oh, yep, I dropped something else again. Martika just finished Tabitha Brown's Feeding the Soul. For those of you who don't know Tabitha Brown, she's vegan and she has a very big YouTube channel. She also has a lot of products in several stores. I think Target or Target being one of them. For those of you who are preppers and canning things and storing up, there are a lot of challenges, YouTube challenges going on. One of them is the WIG grow off. That's what I started the pumpkin seeds for. I also have some seeds, they're herbs, in my Aero Garden hydroponic system, excuse me. And everything is up except I don't know, one of the things didn't pop up, but I put rosemary in there instead. Oh, the thyme didn't. So I took some of my own thyme seeds and put them in there. But those of you who have been putting things in your pantry and stocking up on meats and things, please know that there is a recall on potted meats. I was just about to go to the store and get some little Vienna sausages or some little potted things for my mom. But guess what, mommy? I won't be buying any of them. And those of you who have potted meat, I mean, it's tons of it. Vienna sausage. I don't even want to say all of the different brands and names, but a huge, massive amount of recalls. And the thing that's scary about this recall is that you can't tell until the cans bust open that there's anything going on inside. Martika says that Tabitha's book was inspirational, speaking on faith and her disease and healing. Yes, you can heal yourself through foods and eating natural organic meals. We have always cooked from scratch in my family. You know, can this and can that. Mommy did the canning, and we have a room downstairs in the basement that was a canning room. It might still have some jelly or some of my homemade wine that I used to sneak and put down there and hide it in the corners. My sister Joanne Stevens says there's a good book she recently read called Speak by Tunde Oyenehi. Wow, I'll have to check into that one, sissy. So, in honor of Black History Month, I want to talk to you about a couple of historic books. And one thing, all of the little books up there are a lot of books like this. And what these are biographies of African Americans, Black people. This one is a book about Matthew Henson. Does anybody know what Matthew Henson discovered? What body of land? You're welcome, Martika. The body of land that he discovered. My dad used to talk about Matthew Henson because Daddy used to work at a printing company, and they used to print National Geographics. And he would look at some of the prints and talk about all kinds of things. GG Natural says no. Yep, there's a huge recall. Almost every type of canned meat, canned sausage, other things, you really need to do your research. So my sister Joanne says the North Pole. Sissy, do you remember Daddy telling us about Matthew Henson and the North Pole? But anyway, you guys, a lot of that whole shelf, I must have 20 or 30 of these books on different people, African Americans. Why is that important? Because growing up in the schools, at least here in Connecticut, I don't know where you guys are from. Sissy said she remembers Daddy telling us there were no books in the libraries about like but not autobiographies, biographies about people that look like us. So I remember I used to always go to the library in Stevens School, my second elementary school growing up. I started school when I was 4, and I went in Stamford, Connecticut, and there was a school called Elm Street School. It's no longer there now. It's all these billion-dollar companies, Swiss Bank, UBS, Warburg, that own the properties there now. So there are all these little books. So I have like a whole set of books. And when people come to visit, or maybe when I'm gone, no longer on this earth, these books will still be in the family. One of the Black history books, or books on Black, is this book, Bound for the North Pole. Bound for the North Pole. And this is a book about the Underground Railroad and or slaves escaping. And you see their footprints in the snow. Does anybody here, because there was no GPS then, there was no GPS, does anybody know how to navigate? I know the people who have been in the military know how to navigate. You follow the North Star. Why? Because it's true north, and you just keep following it. The slaves didn't have GPS. They didn't have maps. They would follow the North Star. But then how did they find north when the weather was bad and there were no stars out? Does anybody know? I'll tell you, because I did a lot of, actually, I did the research. I was a consultant for City College of New York. Hello, David Corey with Crop, and welcome. I was a researcher for City College of New York, and I did the research on, hello, Mike's Chaotic Gardening, and welcome. I did the research for their Underground Railroad website. And I have a big book, a notebook of my research, not stuff that I picked up on, I Googled, stuff that I went through books and books and books and books. And I have all the bibliographies of places that I researched for their Underground Railroad. And maybe while it's Black History Month, I'll tell you about some of the stories of some of the people who escaped. There was a guy named Box Brown. His name was Henry Brown. They call him Box Brown because he escaped slavery by getting a big box and mailing himself away. And he's carefully put the directions on it. You know, this side up. It's kind of like my food that was delivered today. But guess what? They didn't put it right side up. There was some place along the way where he was being mailed where he stayed upside down on his head for, I don't know, several hours. And when they got him out of the box, they said the veins on his head were the size of fingers. Can you imagine that? Yes. How many of you, speaking of recalls and things and staying on point, how many of you has an actual map, like a printout map of your state, someplace you're visiting, or what do you call those? The big books. I have one. I can't think of the name of it right now. Yeah, you need to have a printout of where you're going. There are going to be times when you're not going to have your cell phone, but there are already places that no matter what type of cell phone you have, you can have that new iPhone 14. There are places you're not going to get a signal, or you get into a place, one of these new property developments, when they have you going around and around and around in circles because they can't find out where you are and the roads are not even on the maps yet. Hello, Fifi's Journey, and welcome. Welcome, welcome. Another book that I have in my library is this book about the Black West. And what's interesting about the West is, well, for one thing, there was not supposed to be slavery west of a certain dividing line. But anyway, I was in Arizona and my sister took me to Sedona, and there was a museum, and it had mostly Native American people and information and artifacts there from back when Arizona was built. And we met, you might have seen on some of my photos, two cowboys. One was the great grandson of Buffalo Bill. And I told him, "Oh, I used to have horses. I used to have horses." This book is very interesting, G Mama. And it talks about different parts of the West. It talks about different cities, the Trail of Tears. What the Buffalo Bill's great grandson said was that in the beginning, all the cowboys were black because the gentlemen, the white owners of the big properties, they didn't do physical work. Tell us how you find the direction you're traveling when the weather's inclement and there's no North Star. I get sidetracked, sissy, because the moss grows on the north side of the trees. So you feel your way around, and there were lots of forests, lots of trees then, and the moss grows on the north side of the trees. Useless information that I like learning about things. Hello, Amani Anita Newsom, and welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming. So, some of the chapters in the Black West, I used to have horses, you guys, and I used to have all the cowgirl regalia, the Stetson hats, the big silver buckles with all the stuff on it that you usually win in rodeos. I didn't ride in rodeos, and my horses, a couple of them were thoroughbreds, and they were trained English for different horse shows, but I rode Western. I rode Western. So this book about the Black West, it tells about the early settlers, the explorers, the fur traders, slavery in the West, California, homesteaders, the Ninth Cavalry Infantry, the 24th and 25th Infantry regiments. Back in the days of segregation, the cavalry, the different branches of the service were all black. All black. I don't know if any of you have heard about a book called The Court Martial of Jackie Robinson. His wife, Rachel Robinson, wrote a book about the court martial of Jackie Robinson. We know about him from baseball and sports, but he was court-martialed and went to court for refusing. He was a second lieutenant, and he was in the cavalry for refusing to ride in the back of the bus. So these are some of the books that I have read over the years, and I like telling when I'm teaching or either corporate teaching or whatever. A couple of my friends who live in Connecticut who are white were asking me something about history and Black history, and I was explaining some things to them. One lady upstairs thinks she's an authority on it now, so she wants to give one of the talks in our senior building next year talking about Black history. I think that's fascinating and interesting, and something we all need to know how to get along and take care of ourselves. Oh, I know. The book that I just showed you, for the people who just came in, was Bound for the North Star. And this is about slaves escaping slavery and traveling through the snow to trying to get to Canada to freedom. Because hello, Yankee Sister Homestead, and welcome. Lashes Journey. We're talking about one of your favorite books. Because in the United States, hello, Sanalve, or Sanal, in the United States, even if you escape slavery, and even people who were born free could be kidnapped into slavery and taken to the South. Taken to the South. Well, based on that book and the story, that was my inspiration to paint. I can't tell if it's straight or not. To paint this picture of snow, and I guess it's straight now, to paint a picture of snow and traveling. One thing, a piece of history that's here, near and dear to Connecticut. Has anybody ever heard of the mutiny on the ship La Amistad? Well, this is a recreation of the ship. The original ship, there was a mutiny on board by some black slaves. And the story is, this ship has been recommissioned in the state of Connecticut. Money was raised, and the story has it that this ship was a schooner. A schooner is not a big ship. The slave ships that went through international travel were humongous. They had people sandwiched in 18-inch slats, sideways, laying down. They couldn't even stand up. Well, this little ship, the La Amistad, hello, Urban Gardening Chronicles, in the bushes listening. Thank you. Thank you. So La Amistad was in Cuba, and the boat was being stocked rather, and it had some slaves on it. I've actually boarded the boat. Will the moderators please post your channels so that people can get to know you? Hello, Mike. Mike's Chaotic Gardening. So this was a small ship, and the story is I talked to the captain, who happened to be a guy named Bill Pinkney. I have a brother named Bill Pankey, and at the time the ship was stationed in Boston, and the ship's captain said that the reason the head slave that started the mutiny, his name was Cinque, was because the captain made a motion like this across his neck and pointed at Cinque and said that they was going to cut his throat and cook him. So, well, that didn't happen. Cinque mutinied and got everybody else to mutiny, and they took over the ship. So, of course, the slaves knew nothing about navigation. They were trying to get the ship to go back to Africa. But at night, whoever the navigator on the boat would end up taking them north, or the currents, whatever. They ended up in Long Island Sound, and the Coast Guard went above. This is a true story. The Coast Guard went above the boat, and it was seized and brought to New Haven, Connecticut. And the slaves were released into the community. The students at Yale University taught them English. Sometimes you hear the phrase, give us free. That's where it came from. When the slaves went to court and the judge asked them if they wanted to be slaves or if they wanted to be free, the slaves all said, give us free, give us free. So that is the story of La Amistad. And that is an original picture. I'm going to have copies made and make them available to be sold, because this is the ship as it looks now. And it's harbored in Connecticut for historical ventures. So let's come up until today. today. Oh, I have one last drawing or painting to show you. And this is a pair of work boots. Whose work boots are these? I heard one of our family members, Mr. David Corey, talking junk in one of the grow offs or one of the challenges, saying that he didn't trust anybody that didn't have overalls. Well, they don't make overalls that fit women's hips, sir, but some of us women, we got our own boots. These are my boots that I have right here in my senior apartment today. And when it snows and goes outside, yes, Nana has her work boots. Yes, yes, yes. So let's talk about some of the challenges. Are any of you participating in either the WIG Grow Off? Who is Gigi Natural said, oh, David was talking big. Yeah. Yeah, he was. Him, a big tall guy, he was talking mucho trasho. Mucho trasho. Mucho trasho. So who has posted their Yankee Sister? Have you seen La Amistad either in Hartford or any of the places in Connecticut? And Gigi, have you posted your channel? Thank you, everybody who's here. So I have oh, yes, yes, yes. Even though I knocked half the dirt out of it. Mr. David Corey with crops, sir. Oh, I broke one of the leaves when I knocked it over. Anyway, this is not the WIG Grow Off, but I might as well pinch this one because I already broke it. And Nikki, the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick, she always talks about they're having her crops when they're young and tender. So I took the two first leaves from the bottom of the plant and I said, I'm not going to throw those away. I'm going to eat them. So I put them in a salad and they were young and tender. They were a little bit, some kind of funny tasting, but I ate them. Mike's Chaotic Gardening has said WIG 2022 is growing well. G Mama Grow says she's entered WIG Grow Off and Planter HGC. That's a garden challenge, planting 5 different herbs, and you put hashtag planter HGC 2023, and anybody who's listening out there in the great world can enter it. And if you put that hashtag in it, we will be able to find your post. Both of my vlogs have been uploaded, G Mama Gross says. And thank you, Imani, for asking people to click like as they enter the house. One more holiday is coming up, and I just want to remind you guys, those of you who haven't seen it, this is just a little wire rack from the buck and a quarter store, formerly known as Dollar Tree to most of us. Urban Garden Chronicles says, I'm in both grow-offs. Happy it has me growing indoors in the winter, pushing the envelope. Me too. Me too. Like I hear, and it's maybe a senior issue. A lot of older people have been depressed because of the situation around the world now, having to stay in. I was so happy to be able to stay home and work on my quilting, work on my gardening, talking trash with you guys. I was happy to stay home and not go outside. Gigi Natural says she hasn't entered anything this year, but she's watching them all. Oh, yes, you have, ma'am. Yes, you have. You entered a 20-acre homestead that you and your husband are starting from the ground up, putting your own well in, your own lines. My sister Joanne Stevens can tell you that we've done that as a family in North Carolina, off grid, and had to run the poles, all that stuff. Yankee sister's been chopping on lettuce. She didn't bring me any. See that part. That part. You got your hands full, Miss Gigi Naturals Homestead. Hi, Sifting Soil Mona. For those of you who ever wake up at night and can't sleep, have to go down the hall, Sifting Some Soil does arts and crafts at night. She's up crocheting. There's Mike's Chaotic Gardening goes there on her channel. David Corey. I hear them at night. I leave my TV on and I wake up to walk down the hall, you know, that walk you have to do in the middle of the night. And I hear them cutting up, talking junk, especially that Mr. David Corey. Um, Mike chipping in, and they're having so much fun. I wake up, Mona sifting some soil, even now. She goes, Auntie Ellen, this isn't your normal time to get up. I hear them. I have to get up. One of these days, I'm going to go live, turn on an actual light, and put my glasses on so I can see what they're doing. So, going back to this, for Valentine's Day, this would make a cute little door wreath. You could get some of this and some red and white fabric and make, instead of giving flowers that are going to die or something else, you can make one of these. This one I just made with some scraps I happen to have during that class I was doing, an arts and craft class for seniors. And I just showed them how to do it because it was economical and it was something that they could do. So now says she's loading her planter challenge today. I didn't know about the other challenge. Thanks for sharing. Oh, there's one more challenge that started today. Actually, there are two, which is why I brought up about, for those of you who just came in, there's a recall on most potted meats, most Vienna sausages, most canned potted meats that you have in your pantry. Do not eat them. I repeat, do not eat them. Make sure that you check the dates on them, but I just wouldn't eat them at all. I just wouldn't eat them at all. But there's one challenge where you just eat pantry meals for a month, just cooking what you have in the house, in the freezer, or if you do have to go out, spending only $55 a week. I have so much food in here. $55 would last me a month, and then I would have to share and find somewhere to put it. So there's that challenge online. I don't know what it is, but you guys can put the information up if anybody knows, doing the pantry meats. And there's still one more that I found out today. Whole New Perspective. Crystal has one. It was formerly the pot Jar It Up. I did that one. If you guys haven't seen my video, I made some apple cider vinegar. It's excellent. It has the thickest SCOBY on top with the mother. I made it from apple peelings and the apple core from the family's Christmas cakes. I made some honey garlic fermentation. I have that on an earlier video. Just saying some things that you guys can be putting up. But the new challenge is to make your own mix. My sister Joanne might still have in her cabinet when I was out there last year. Whenever I make cornbread, I always make it from, hello, Grammy's Journal, and welcome. Thanks, everybody, for welcoming each other in. And any of you who see a channel that you don't know, please click on it and go and visit them. So I've been making homemade cornbread for over 50 years from scratch. And hello, Yaya. When I make one batch of cornbread, whether it's with butter, milk, whatever, while I have all the ingredients out, I mix the cornbread. Then I put all the dry ingredients in a bag for the next time so that I have a batch made for today. I also do that with my banana bread. My banana bread, thank you, Sanal. You like the wreath. All it is leftover scraps. If any of you would like to do that with leftover scraps, I keep my leftover scraps and share them with others. I'd be happy to mail you some of the little tiny scraps if you'll pay the postage. So let's see. All right. So G Mama Gross says she wants to make her own apple cider vinegar. Oh, it's easy, G Mama Grows. Oh, but you know, one thing, I see a lot of people making it a lot of ways. The reason, if you look at my video, you see so much SCOBY because because I use a lot of the skin. The skin has the things that you need to make the SCOBY. You know, the apple, so much you can use the whole entire apple. I'm not saying that you can't, but me, the apple, especially the price of Honeycrisp and some of the other apples, you buy them fresh from the farm or the farmer's market. I'm not wasting my money like that. Do I use cast iron pans? Yes, Martika. Since I downsized, since I downsized, I don't have as much space. I have one cast iron pan. The former house that I was living in was sold as is, so all the pans, everything went there. Maria Graham says, how do I make my cornbread? I can tell you from the top of my head. 1 cup of all purpose flour, 1 cup of cornmeal. I use yellow fine cornmeal. If you put sugar in your cornbread, some do, some don't. You know, a recipe is just a guideline. You make your own. If you want to put sugar in it, you can. Otherwise, you put 1 cup of milk. You can make, I like using buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, you take 1 cup of whole milk. You put some white vinegar in it, stir it up, wait a few minutes while you're doing the other stuff, and it'll be soured in buttermilk by the time you're ready for it. You put 1 tablespoon, or you can put 2 teaspoons of baking powder in it and mix it. Oh, a teaspoon of salt, and that's it. The best cornbread. I haven't bought that box cornbread. Let's see, I'm 74. My kids are in their 50s. I know that I've been making cornbread from that. As a matter of fact, Yankee's sister came over one day and I made some soup. Was it soup or beans? Something. And while we were talking here, I just went in there, got the flour down, got the cornmeal, whipped it up, put it in my cast iron pan. Oh, that's the other thing, Maria Graham. I put my cast iron pan in the oven before I do everything. Put the oven on 350, and while the butter is melting, making the cornbread, you mix it up. And when I put it in the skillet, you can see it already crunching up around the edges, crunching up around the edges. That cornbread was good, wasn't it, Yankee sister? One thing I can make really good: cornbread and beans and cornbread. Okay. Does anybody want to talk about anything that they're working on that they want to share? Mona, if you know how, can you put your channel up so that people can subscribe and know when you go live to hang out with you at night and do their arts and crafts? In fact, everybody who has a channel can put you're welcome to put your channel up. Mike says, I'm sweet cake, the sweet cake like cornbread guy. Okay, Mike, in yours, you can break it down. In her portion, you can make it dry. In yours, you can put up to a 1/4 cup of brown sugar or sugar in it. Imani says she put apple peelings and cores in 2 jars, added filtered water. Okay, sugar was not mandatory. Nope, you don't have to put sugar in if you don't want to. Cover it with scrap cloth and rubber band. I I forgot to say that part. You can't put a metal top over it when you're fermenting the apple cider Maria Graham, I take coffee filters, the wavy kind for the old coffee pots. I put two of those over the top and I put a rubber band on it. And I have two videos in my playlist somewhere on making apple cider vinegar from scratch. I don't cook a lot, but when I do, I cook everything from scratch. Takes me days. Takes me days. Okay, you guys. Does anybody have any questions about anything? And has everybody, you're welcome, Maria Graham. Has everybody, I'm just making sure I didn't leave anything out. Does anybody have any questions? Hello, MLW Fishing Man. And thank you for coming back again. How is somebody calling me and my phone is off? Okay. Well, this next part, hello, Millionaire Paul. Thank you for stopping in. You guys, please welcome Millionaire Paul. Well, let's welcome everybody. Everybody. Paul is in the UK, and I've been keeping up with him. It must be the middle of the night over there, or almost morning. No, you're 5 hours ahead. That's right. How do I know that? Because I used to be a coder or work with computers. In fact, I worked on the GPS system from 1980 to 1982. I worked for IBM, and I used to work for Federal Systems Division in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And when I used to go to that computer center at night, you had to have a security clearance. Actually, you had to have top security clearance because we ran Department of Defense jobs. We couldn't allow anybody to come into the room to change the trash or do anything. If it was snowing when you went in, you didn't even know whether it was day or night. It was like being in a casino or something. So, yeah, that's a part of my life. And you had to be weighed. If you weighed more than 3 pounds, you had to do an iris scan when you went in. You had to do your fingerprint for security, and you had to get weighed. If you weighed more than 3 pounds when you left, then you came that day, guess what? You had to sit down and explain to somebody what was up with that. Okay, GQUAT, what haven't I done? I'm trying to think of it. I'm trying to think of it. That's why I'm here, trying to keep you guys from doing some of the things I probably shouldn't have. My mother will tell you that. Oh, people would say, my parents were strict, and I'm glad. I'm glad. And we were not allowed certain places to do certain things. If somebody on the other side of town, hello, Barb Brownlee, would say, I saw Penny over there, or I did this or do that, not only would I get in trouble with them, and it took a whole village. Anybody's parent could correct anybody's child. We would get it when we got home. I remember when I came home from Howard University after the first year, I was going to be grown. My friends and I were going to go to the liquor store and get some wine or something. We walk in the liquor store, and the man takes one look at me, says, "Oh, I know who you are. You look just like your mother." Oh man. Oh man. But my mother would say, "Oh, Penny did my nickname is Penny, my family nickname. Daddy called me Pen Pen." And she would say, "And Penny did this, and Penny did that." And Daddy would pat me on the shoulder. "Oh, Pen Pen didn't do that. Hey, Miss Shirley, the OG gardener." And then he would say, "That's the good daughter. She didn't do that." I was the daughter from you know where. I was the first one to get into anything that probably shouldn't have been gotten into. Okay, you guys, welcome aboard. And I am going to do a quick little project over. Now, guess what? Won't be the sewing machine today. And Mona, I heard you. Mona says, I go through so much. So much. I'm going to show you guys one thing. G Mama Grows said that she wanted to work on. I'm going to show you guys an easy way to make a prepper's sleeping mat, if you don't need one for yourself, I know that I was always getting caught doing something Yankee system. And if you don't want to make a homeless blanket for yourself, you can make one for someone else. You can make one for somebody on the street you see pushing a cart. But you can't beat this. The dimensions you need, if you guys have something to write it down, for a sleeping mat is usually 36 inches wide and 6 feet long. You can make a strap to carry it on, and you can make another strap to roll it up and use it, put it over your shoulder. It takes a lot of plastic bags. It takes 500 to 700 bags to make a sleeping mat. But I'm going to show you how to do that because it's something handy to have in your car if you need to work on your car. If you need to sit somewhere, you might want to put your plants on it outside on your patio or something. So here we go. So let's see. I'm trying to see what you guys are seeing. I was going to see if I could show you a painting over there, but I will show you another week. So, what I'm going to show you is how to prep a plastic bag to make a an easy way to make a loop. So you've got these old bags, they're all under the sink, balled up, whatever. You straighten them out and flatten them, smooth them with your hands, and make it into a flat piece. Can you see that? Then you smooth them. You take, not your good scissors, and you cut the top off. Mona assisted some soil. This will be a good project at night. You don't need your glass. Then I'm cutting off the bottom seam. Okay, now to make a bed, I've already shown you one way. This is like cooking a cake or something. You can make it adaptable to however you want. Mike's Chaotic Garden, this would be a nice thing to have outside. So you see this bag, because I have a little measuring table here, is exactly 12 inches. So you know what? If I were going to make this for a sleeping bed, this is about 12 inches. I would cut it. I'll make this one really thick. I will cut it at 6 inches. Okay, that's one. Now here is another bag. You put your finger in the little corner there. That's how you get it to fold flat. It's like folding the fitted sheet, the bottom sheet on your bed. So this one is almost flat. So again, actually I'm going to start at the bottom to make sure that it's kind of even. I'm cutting this little strip off the bottom. This way has a little bit more waste than doing the spiral cut. But the spiral cut, you also have uneven edges. So I'm cutting off the wavy part at the top. And again, I'm going to cut this one in half. Now the trick is the next part. Okay, so you see this? This is a loop. And this is a loop. So what I'm going to do, trying to make sure you can see it, I'm going to put one through the other and pull the strap up, and look, it's tied. Then I go to the next loop. The next loop, I take a bag, fold it in half, bring it up, bring the bottom part up, pull it through. So now we're making plarn, plastic yarn. And this one is going to be thick. This one's going to be thicker than the little 2-inch ones or 3-inch ones that you can use for a rug. This is going to be thick for a bed. So you see this? Again, you pull it through. So look at this. We have all this. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. And then to make, if you're going to make bedding, you can buy these online on Amazon. I don't have the link or anything, but you get 2 crochet hooks, a P and a Q. If you're making a rug, use a smaller one because you don't want it to be too thick where you lose your balance. When you get old, you lose your balance anyway, so you don't need anything to trip over or fall over. I went for my annual exam Monday, and my primary care physician asked me if I had any slip rugs in the house. I don't, other than in the kitchen, and that's to catch the grease and water by the sink and the stove. And they're only small, and they're hand crocheted. Okay, so now we have the plarn. So what we're going to do, those of you who crochet, we have the slip knot to start, and you see this big fat needle. Oh, okay. I had some of you, these big needles give you carpal tunnel or make your hand hurt. There are different wristbands. I don't see mine right now that you can put on to protect your hands. So let's just say 1, 2, oh, I'm in the wrong part. Can't look up. 1, that's the bottom. 1, 2, and you give yourself plenty of room. Make big loops. 2, I'll just make 5. Just let's do 3, 4, 5. Mona, this is just like this crocheting on the baby blankets. Then I'm going to chain 1 and turn. You see how nice and thick this is? Then I go back and I'm single crocheting. And I'm using this just like I would yarn with a very, very big needle. And I would keep going until your piece is 36 inches, which is the average size bed, up to 42. But see how big these stitches are? And this is a nice little cushion. Hi, Gina, and welcome if I didn't say hi already. Hello, Crafty Mom Creations. But this is, I'm showing you on big needles and big crochet to make a bed. Since it takes 500 to 700 plastic bags, I don't know how many of you will have that many or be making them. So what I have here I made a small ball of plarn out of Mylar bags. I get food delivered in these huge Mylar bags. And so I stripped these up already. And through the magic of video vision, I started this piece. What am I going to do with it? I don't know. I'm just doing it to show you guys what it looks like. It's actually kind of pretty and kind of shiny. Maybe put some plants on it. Put some of my grow pots on it. I don't know. But you can wash it in your wash machine. A doormat. Nope, it's too pretty for that. So, this is what I wanted to show you guys. When you crochet, there's 2 loops at the top. When you're going back across, You see one, two. David Corey, this would be good to have. Those of you who have big dogs, they get their elbows look like they have eczema. They can't lay on hardwood floors or the dirt. These are good. The little mat I made a couple weeks ago, I put in Mr. Hershey's travel crate. It'll be going to Arizona with me this summer, this winter. Hello, Stacy Hands in the Dirt. Hello, GT Junior Grows in Alaska. Hello, Diversity Love. So I will go across again and show you how I'm crocheting with this plastic yarn. I wanted you to see the ball, but I just put it on the floor. I have a little wash pan. Mona's sifting some soil the other night when you guys were live, and you said, "Oh, Auntie Ellen's up early." I was up 2 o'clock in the morning. That's what I did. I made that ball of yarn. So now I'm just going to crochet in the back stitch going across with this little one. This one is going to be a rug, not a bed. So it's not going to be as thick. I'm using a smaller needle and a thinner yarn. I cut this yarn 2 inches, 2 inches wide. And if it's not easy to pull up, look how fast it goes. I just want you guys to see. This row has, I think, 15 stitches. Look how fast it goes. So when you're up at night or doing nothing, again, this is something that's useful anywhere, on grid, off grid, wherever you live. You can use it for a table mat, a table runner, anything you want. When I get to the end of this row, I will stop. And by the way, you guys, Miss Shirley O.G. Gardner is here with us now. She goes live at 8 o'clock. Miss Shirley, I'll be honest, I'll keep it real with you. Mona mentioned it. I'll be so tired when I finish the live and picking up all the stuff that I dropped and knocked over. I'm usually taking a nap by the time 8 o'clock comes, but I always catch the replay and I always leave a little message because that's what family does. We're there for each other. And I have one more stitch at the end of the row. I have to count them. I'll count that one. That one might be the last one I was talking. So you see how fast that went? This is only 3 rows. So everybody, thank you for coming. It is 5:02. And I appreciate each and every one of you. Oh, you see that picture up there, way up in the back? That's one of my paintings. We haven't even gotten around to my paintings. I'm so busy. I am always doing something. What did I do with my comments? I am always doing something. You do the same thing, Michelle. You take your little nappy. So the picture up there, way in the back, that's Uncle Roscoe, my brother-in-law. He's an amazing swimmer. All of my kids can, all 2 of them, and my grandkids, they swim like sharks. They swim like sharks. And that's a picture, a painting I made off of a picture of Uncle Roscoe swimming in Aruba. Gee, Mama, see y'all later. See you in these YouTube streets. Thank you for coming, Sifting Soil and More. Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. All right. Thank you. Bye, Mommy. Ego amote. My mother's watching with her nurse, you guys. Thanks for saying hi to my mom. Hi, Sharita. Oh, my Sharita's here, my granddaughter. Oh, I have one daughter, one son, one granddaughter. one grandson, 3 great grandchildren, and 1 great great grandbaby. Thanks, everybody.